Hi everyone, my name is Bo, and my project is using VBA to create a heat map. When I was doing my midterm project, I discovered an Excel add-in called Geographic Heat Map, like this. Although I think we already have very powerful map tools like Power Map, which can create really beautiful and impressive heat maps. I think sometimes these kind of small tools will come in handy when we want to do some small or quick project. But this small tool has a big shortfall. Its inherent data ranges are fixed, so it doesn't work well with data with outliers. In my case, New York is the outlier. Because of the tragic event of 911, New York has way more people killed or wounded from terrorists than other states. So the number of New York is much larger than the number of other states. So if I include New York in my data set, the New York will be the only data that included in the highest data range, and all the other numbers are all too small and they fall into the last data range. So only New York is red and all the other states are green. So it doesn't really look like a heat map. So I have to remove New York from my data set. That's how I get this heat map. But the state of New York is blank because I removed the data. So I want to fix this problem in my final project. I use a I use VBA to create my own heat map, and it looks like this. This is a original map template I downloaded from yourfreetemplates.com. Actually, there's lots of free editable original map templates online. You look like this. You can download yourself, and it's actually like it's more than 51 shapes altogether. So I use VBA code to let Excel fill the shapes of the 51 states one by one. Um, mostly the code are if statement loops like this, just loops from the state 1 to state 51. And and then then I assign the macro to the different buttons. Some codes are very difficult, so I generate the codes by macro, then I modify the codes according to my needs. So here's my color table. I have different colors, and this is the blue, this is orange, and this green, and this is the original heat map. And so I can change different colors. Also, I can change a certain color just filled with different color. Like I fill it purple. Then I run again. So the New York, the highest data range will become purple, and just so I can change the color very easily. And here's my data range. So I can also change the data range according to my needs. This is another range. I just paste it here. So it's another different data range, and I run the map again. So I got a different heat map with different ranges. Now, like California and Nevada and Florida, they fall into a higher data range and they are red. So I can control the data range. And let me get back. And also I can change the data source. Now this is my control table for the macros. And this is the now my data source is column 3. That is the number of people who got killed. So I can change to number 4. So now we have the number 4 number of people who are wounded. And now we got a different heat map. And it all works the same. So now let me change back to column 3. Now we got the original one. And to make it more fun, I create a checkbox so I can turn the heat map on and I can turn heat map off. So it just I just like it just make it more interesting. And also I can export my favorite heat map to a Word document just by click this, and it will create a new Word document and export the map here. Oh, here. And I can export any map I want. It will create another Word document and export the map here. Yes. So we got a one map and two map. Then we can start like editing here in the Word documents. So we can use similar code to export to Word to PowerPoint. The code is very similar. Just like this is to create the Word application documents, Word application, and if you want to just export to PowerPoint, you just create PowerPoint application and PowerPoint documents. So it's very similar to the code here. Now here. Um, One thing I want to talk about is this checkbox. I think it's very interesting because it's on and off. It's on and off, and it looks very simple, but actually it's got a very it's there's a lot of tricks to make this happen. Is here. It's a checkbox macro here. We have to we have to find the value of the value of the checkbox when it's checked, or and also the value for the checkbox is unchecked. So I made a lot of tests of the code, and I tried different possibilities. So my project is not particularly complicated, or there's no fancy codes, but actually there's a lot of tricks to make this happen. The because there are a lot of shapes here, and you know the checkbox is kind of tricky to work with, so it actually take me a lot of times to test my codes and try all those possibilities. I don't have any program backgrounds at all, so I actually a little bit intimidated by the VBA lessons at the beginning of our course. But I really enjoy making this project because I'm pretty happy with my heat map. I think it's much better than the Excel add-ins, and actually I don't need to uh this could be my template for my future project. I just only need to replace the data source data here, and I can get my heat map from different data from so to use for different analysis. So um I'm really happy with my heat map, and thank you.